The major grabbed her .50 caliber, then she broke his arm and hit 7 targets perfectly. When Major Bradley Connor attempted to sabotage Staff Sergeant Alina Moskov's performance during the Inter-Service Precision Rifle Championship by seizing her Barrett M82A1 sniper rifle just as she prepared for the final elimination round, he believed his superior rank and physical strength would intimidate her into accepting defeat. What he didn't anticipate was that her Marine Corps sniper training would enable her to neutralize his interference with devastating efficiency, while executing the most impressive long-range shooting demonstration in competitive military history. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. The Inter-Service Precision Rifle Championship represented the pinnacle of military marksmanship competition, bringing together the most skilled snipers from all branches of the armed forces for 3 days of increasingly challenging shooting scenarios that tested every aspect of long-range precision firing under extreme conditions. The competition's reputation for excellence attracted spectators from across the military community, including senior officers who viewed the event as a showcase of elite military capabilities. Staff Sergeant Alina Moskov had earned her position in the championship through exceptional performance during Marine Corps sniper training and subsequent operational deployments where her marksmanship skills had been tested under combat conditions that confirmed her qualification among the military's most capable precision shooters. Her selection to represent Marine Corps Forces Special Operations Command reflected both her technical competence and competitive potential. The competition venue at Quantico Marine Corps Base provided ideal conditions for testing long-range shooting skills, with carefully designed ranges extending beyond 1,500 meters and target systems that challenged even the most experienced military snipers. The facility's sophisticated scoring systems and environmental monitoring equipment ensured that results reflected pure shooting skill rather than favorable conditions or equipment advantages. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel, it means a lot to us. Now back to the story. Major Bradley Connor represented Army Special Operations Command in the competition, his 15 years of sniper experience and multiple deployment records establishing him as one of the military's most accomplished precision shooters. His participation was viewed as virtually guaranteeing victory for the Army team, given his extensive competitive experience and reputation for performing well under pressure situations. The competition format included individual and team events that tested various aspects of sniper capabilities, from rapid target engagement to extreme long-range precision shooting under environmental conditions that simulated operational challenges. The final elimination round would determine individual champions in multiple categories while establishing bragging rights between service branches for the coming year. Alina's performance through the preliminary rounds had been exceptional, with scores that placed her among the top 3 competitors overall, and first among female participants in the championship's history. Her consistency and technical precision had surprised competitors and observers who had underestimated her capabilities based on her relatively junior rank and limited competitive experience. The Barrett M82A1 50 caliber sniper rifle that would be used in the final elimination round was considered the ultimate test of precision shooting skills, with its massive cartridge and extreme effective range requiring exceptional technical competence and environmental awareness to achieve accurate shot placement at distances exceeding 1,800 meters. The weapon's reputation for both power and difficulty made it the perfect platform for determining championship-level marksmanship. Major Connor's approach to the competition had been characterized by confidence bordering on arrogance, his assumptions about inevitable victory based on rank, experience, and service branch superiority that he believed would overcome any challenges from competitors with less prestigious credentials. His attitude toward female competitors was particularly dismissive, reflecting outdated assumptions about women's capabilities in precision shooting. The scoring system for the final round would be based on precision rather than speed, with 7 targets positioned at varying distances and elevations that would require rapid adjustment of shooting solutions while maintaining the concentration and technical control necessary for championship-level accuracy. The challenge would test every aspect of sniper training and natural shooting ability. Spectators for the championship final included senior military leaders, competitive shooting enthusiasts, and media representatives who understood they were witnessing the highest levels of military marksmanship competition. The audience's presence added psychological pressure that would separate truly elite shooters from those who performed well only under controlled training conditions. Alina's preparation for the final round included detailed analysis of environmental conditions, ammunition selection, and equipment configuration that would optimize her Barrett M82A1's performance for the specific challenges presented by the 7-target course. Her methodical approach reflected the systematic thinking that had made her successful throughout her sniper training and operational experience. The competition rules specified that shooters would engage targets in sequence from longest to shortest range, with scoring based on accuracy rather than time, though excessive delays would result in penalties that could affect final standings. The format was designed to reward precision and consistency rather than speed, emphasizing the qualities that made military snipers effective in operational environments. Major Connor's strategy for the final round appeared to be based on intimidating competitors rather than focusing on his own shooting performance, his behavior during equipment preparation suggesting that he viewed psychological pressure as crucial for maintaining his expected dominance in the competition. His approach to other competitors had been marked by condescending comments and attempts at distraction. Weather conditions for the final round were challenging but manageable, with variable winds and changing light conditions that would test shooters' abilities to adapt their techniques to environmental factors that could significantly affect bullet trajectory and target visibility at extreme ranges. The conditions were considered ideal for determining true championship-level capabilities. As competitors prepared for the final elimination round that would determine individual and team champions, the tension was evident among both participants and spectators who understood they were about to witness the highest levels of military precision shooting. The stakes were high not only for individual recognition but for service branch pride and reputation within the military marksmanship community. Major Bradley Connor's 15-year military career had been built upon exceptional marksmanship skills and an increasingly inflated sense of superiority that had transformed legitimate competitive success into arrogant dismissal of any shooter he perceived as inferior. Particularly female competitors, whom he viewed as inherently incapable of matching male performance in precision shooting disciplines that required physical strength and psychological toughness. His sniper training at Fort Benning had established him as one of the most naturally gifted shooters in his class, with scores that consistently exceeded requirements, while his technical understanding of ballistics, environmental factors, and equipment optimization demonstrated the analytical capabilities that separated elite marksmen from merely competent rifle shooters. His early success had created expectations of continued dominance that shaped his competitive approach. Connor's operational deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan had provided opportunities to demonstrate his precision shooting skills under combat conditions, with confirmed eliminations at ranges exceeding 1,200 meters that established his reputation as one of the military's most capable snipers. His combat record included several high-value target engagements that had been crucial for mission success and unit survival during complex operations. The transition from operational sniper to competitive shooting had been natural for Connor, whose technical skills and competitive drive made him a dominant force in military marksmanship competitions. His victory in the previous year's Inter-Service Precision Rifle Championship had been decisive, with scores that established new records in multiple categories, while demonstrating clear superiority over competitors from other service branches. Success in competitive shooting had reinforced Connor's belief in his natural superiority while creating resentment toward any competitor who might challenge his expected dominance, particularly those from supposedly inferior service branches or with less prestigious credentials than his own special operations background and extensive combat experience. His attitude had become increasingly problematic as his career progressed. His assessment of female competitors was particularly dismissive, based on outdated assumptions about physical limitations and psychological pressure tolerance that he believed made women inherently unsuitable for precision shooting at the championship level. His comments about female participants had consistently reflected bias that other competitors found unprofessional but were reluctant to challenge directly. Conor's preparation for the current championship had been characterized by overconfidence and minimal practice. His assumptions about inevitable victory based on past performance rather than current readiness or respect for competitors who might have improved their capabilities since previous competitions. His approach reflected dangerous complacency that could affect performance under pressure. The psychological profiling that had been part of his special operations selection had identified competitive drive and confidence as strengths, while noting tendencies toward arrogance and difficulty accepting challenges to his perceived superiority. The assessment had recommended continued monitoring of his attitude toward teammates and competitors to prevent behavioral problems that could affect unit cohesion. His coaching of junior snipers had been marked by technical competence combined with condescending attitude that created training environments where students learned shooting skills while also absorbing his biased assumptions about competitor capabilities and the inherent superiority of male shooters over female participants in precision rifle disciplines. The competitive shooting circuit had provided Conor with numerous opportunities to demonstrate his skills while reinforcing his belief that he was naturally superior to most competitors, particularly those from service branches he viewed as less elite or with backgrounds he considered inferior to his own special operations credentials and extensive operational experience. His approach to equipment selection and preparation reflected both technical expertise and psychological gamesmanship, with expensive custom modifications and exotic ammunition designed as much to intimidate competitors as to optimize performance. His Barrett M82A1 rifle represented thousands of dollars in modifications that provided marginal performance improvements while creating impressive visual displays of technical sophistication. Recent performance evaluations had noted Conor's exceptional technical skills while documenting concerns about his attitude toward other competitors and his increasingly unprofessional behavior during competitions where he felt challenged by shooters whose capabilities exceeded his expectations. The evaluations recommended counseling and attitude adjustment. His interaction with competitors during the current championship had followed established patterns of condescending comments and attempts at psychological intimidation, with particular focus on female participants whom he viewed as easy targets for the kind of mental pressure that he believed would guarantee their poor performance under championship conditions. Staff Sergeant Alina Moskov's performance through the preliminary rounds had clearly frustrated Conor's expectations, with her consistent accuracy and professional demeanor contradicting his assumptions about female capabilities while threatening his expected dominance in the competition. Her success had triggered increasingly aggressive attempts at intimidation and distraction. The approach to the final elimination round had revealed Conor's growing desperation as Alina's performance made clear that she represented a genuine threat to his expected victory, forcing him to consider tactics that went beyond normal competitive psychological pressure to more direct interference with competitor preparation and equipment. His assessment of the final round challenges had identified Alina as the primary threat to his continued dominance, leading him to develop a strategy that focused on disrupting her performance rather than optimizing his own shooting capabilities. The approach revealed both his insecurity and his willingness to violate competitive ethics to maintain his reputation. As the final round preparation began, Conor's behavior toward Alina had become increasingly aggressive and inappropriate, with comments and actions that exceeded normal competitive gamesmanship, while revealing his growing desperation to prevent what he viewed as an unacceptable challenge to his assumed superiority from someone he considered inherently inferior. The equipment preparation area adjacent to the final shooting positions became a tense environment as competitors conducted detailed inspections of their B1 rifles while calculating shooting solutions for the 7-target course that would determine the Inter-Service Precision Rifle Championship. The precision required for success at ranges exceeding 1,800 meters demanded meticulous attention to ammunition selection, scope adjustment, and environment. Staff Sergeant Alina Moskov's systematic approach to rifle preparation reflected her Marine Corps sniper training, with detailed inspection of each component from barrel condition to scope mounting, while calculating ballistic solutions for targets positioned at distances ranging from 800 to 2,100 meters. Her methodical process demonstrated the technical competence that had made her successful throughout the preliminary rounds. Major Connor's observation of Alina's preparation revealed both his technical expertise and growing anxiety, as he recognized that her systematic approach and obvious competence represented a serious threat to his expected victory. His attempts at casual conversation were clearly designed to distract her from crucial preparation while gathering information about her shooting solutions and strategy. "Impressive equipment setup," Connor commented, while positioning himself uncomfortably close to Alina's preparation. "Though I'm not sure that scope configuration will handle the wind conditions we're seeing at the longer ranges. The .50 cal can be tricky for shooters who don't have extensive experience with its ballistics." His tone carried condescension disguised as helpful advice. Alina's response was professionally polite while maintaining focus on her prep. "Thank you for your concern, sir, but I'm confident in my ballistic calculations and equipment configuration." Her dismissal was respectful but clear, indicating that she was not seeking his advice or interested in discussing her technical decisions with a competitor. The 7-target course configuration required engagement of targets at 800, 1,000, 1,250, 1,500, 1,750, 1,900, and 2,100 meters, with varying elevations and exposure conditions that would test every aspect of precision shooting capability while requiring rapid adjustment between shooting solutions as shooters progressed through the course. The challenge was designed to separate championship-level marksmen from merely competent shooters. Connor's equipment represented significant financial investment in custom modifications and exotic ammunition designed to provide every possible technical advantage while creating an impressive display of sophisticated hardware that was intended to intimidate competitors. His rifle's modifications included custom barrel work, precision trigger systems, and specialized optics that cost more than most shooters' annual equipment budgets. "You know," Connor continued, moving closer to Alina's position, "the Barrett really requires understanding of its recoil characteristics and thermal effects on accuracy. I've been shooting this platform for 8 years, and I still learn something new about managing its quirks. Shooters without extensive experience often struggle with consistency, especially under competition pressure." Alina's continued focus on her preparation, while ignoring Connor's increasingly obvious attempts at distraction, demonstrated both her professional discipline and her confidence in her own capabilities. Her ammunition selection process was methodical and technically sophisticated, indicating preparation that matched or exceeded Connor's own technical approach to the competition. The range safety officer's announcement that competitors had 15 minutes remaining for preparation created additional time pressure, while Connor's behavior became more obviously intrusive as he realized that his psychological intimidation tactics were having no effect on Alina's systematic preparation process or apparent confidence in her shooting capabilities. "I noticed your preliminary round scores were quite good," Connor observed, his tone becoming more obviously patronizing. "Beginner's luck can be impressive, but the final round is where experience really matters. The pressure of championship shooting separates the real snipers from the recreational shooters who do well in practice but fold when it counts." Other competitors in the preparation area were beginning to notice Connor's inappropriate behavior, with several exchanging glances that indicated recognition of his unprofessional conduct, while uncertainty about appropriate intervention given his superior rank and reputation within the military marksmanship community. Alina's ammunition loading process demonstrated technical expertise that rivaled Connor's own preparation, with attention to caution inspection, powder charges, and bullet seating that indicated comprehensive understanding of precision reloading techniques.
Her systematic approach was creating ammunition that would provide optimal accuracy for the challenging shooting conditions. The meteorological station's latest wind and atmospheric pressure readings required adjustment of ballistic calculations, with computer-generated solutions that Alina entered into her scope's ballistic compensation system with the same methodical precision that had characterized her entire preparation. Her technical competence was becoming increasingly obvious to observers. Interesting ballistic calculator, Connor noted, leaning over to observe Alina's equipment despite her obvious discomfort with his proximity. Though I'm not sure those solutions account for the thermal effects we're seeing at the longer ranges, the Barrett's accuracy can degrade significantly if you don't factor in barrel heating and environmental variations properly. Alina's patience with Connor's intrusive behavior was clearly being tested as she maintained professional courtesy while attempting to complete crucial preparation procedures that would determine her performance in the championship final. Her responses remained polite but increasingly brief as she focused on technical requirements rather than his unwanted commentary. The final minutes of preparation time were crucial for mental preparation. But Connor's continued presence and increasingly inappropriate comments were clearly designed to disrupt Alina's concentration while positioning himself for whatever escalation he was planning as the competition moved toward the actual shooting phase. As the range safety officer announced 5 minutes remaining for equipment preparation, Connor's behavior shifted toward more direct interference with Alina's preparation process, his growing desperation evident as he realized that his psychological intimidation tactics had failed to shake her confidence or disrupt her systematic technical approach to the competition.
The moment came when the range safety officer called competitors to their final shooting positions, and Major Connor made his calculated decision to prevent Staff Sergeant Alina Moskov from completing what appeared to be preparation for a championship-winning performance. Establishing His approach was designed to appear accidental while effectively sabotaging her equipment just as the final elimination round was about to begin. "Let me help you carry that Barrett to the firing line," Connor offered with false courtesy, reaching for Alina's rifle without waiting for her response. His movement was sudden and aggressive, designed to seize control of her carefully prepared equipment while creating the appearance of helpful assistance that would make any resistance seem ungrateful and unprofessional. Alina's immediate recognition of Connor's true intentions triggered defensive responses that her Marine Corps training had made automatic, her assessment of the situation identifying his action as equipment sabotage that could destroy her competition performance while potentially damaging her precisely configured rifle. Her reaction was swift and decisive as she moved to protect her equipment. "Sir, I can manage my own equipment," Alina stated firmly while positioning herself between Connor and her rifle, her tone professional, but carrying unmistakable authority that made clear she would not tolerate interference with her competition preparation. Her stance and demeanor indicated readiness for whatever escalation might follow from his inappropriate behavior. Connor's response was to ignore her obvious rejection of his assistance, while continuing his reach toward her Barrett M8201, his superior rank and physical size, creating what he believed would be overwhelming pressure for compliance despite the inappropriateness of his actions. His movement became more aggressive as his initial approach was rebuffed. "I insist," Connor said with artificial authority, his hand closing on the rifle stock while his other hand reached for the scope assembly in a gesture that would have disrupted hours of careful preparation and potentially damaged expensive precision equipment. His intentions were clearly hostile despite his pretense of helpful assistance. The moment Connor's hands made contact with Alina's rifle, her defensive training took control of the situation with responses that had been drilled into muscle memory through countless hours of close-quarters combat preparation. Her reaction was instantaneous and devastating, designed to protect her equipment while neutralizing the threat to her competition performance. Her left hand intercepted Connor's wrist with lightning speed while applying precise pressure to nerve clusters that immediately disrupted his grip strength, while her right hand delivered a controlled strike to his elbow joint that hyperextended the arm beyond its natural range of motion. The technique was executed with surgical precision designed to cause immediate incapacitation without permanent damage. The distinctive crack of Connor's radius bone fracturing was audible throughout the preparation area, as Alina's defensive technique applied exactly the amount of force necessary. Dissectment. A technique was executed with surgical precision designed to cause immediate to stop his interference while demonstrating the effectiveness of Marine Corps close-quarters combat training against larger opponents who relied on size and intimidation rather than skill. Connor's scream of pain and shock echoed across the shooting range as the reality of his broken arm penetrated his assumptions about easy intimidation of a female competitor he had seriously underestimated. His injury was immediately obvious as his arm hung at an unnatural angle while his face contorted with pain and disbelief. "You broke my fucking arm," Connor shrieked, his professional military collapsing into panic and rage as he processed what had just happened to him. "She assaulted me. She's psychotic. Someone call medical. I need medical attention immediately." His hysteria was evident as the situation spiraled beyond his control. Range personnel and other competitors immediately responded to Connor's screams, creating a crowd of witnesses who observed the aftermath of what appeared to be a brief but decisive physical confrontation. The scene was chaotic as medical personnel were summoned while range officials attempted to determine what had occurred during equipment preparation. "Sir, Major Connor attempted to sabotage my equipment, and I defended myself using appropriate defensive techniques," Alina reported to the range safety officer with complete professional composure despite the extraordinary circumstances. "His interference could have damaged my rifle and destroyed my competition preparation." The range safety officer's immediate priority was ensuring medical care for Connor's obvious injury while maintaining competition schedule and determining appropriate response to what appeared to be an unprecedented incident during championship competition. His experience with competitive shooting had not prepared him for managing assault allegations between competitors. Medical personnel who arrived to treat Connor's injury confirmed that he had sustained a clean fracture of both radius and ulna bones in his forearm, requiring immediate stabilization and transport to advanced medical facilities for surgical repair. The injury would eliminate him from competition while requiring extended rehabilitation. Witness statements from other competitors confirmed that Connor had been behaving inappropriately toward Alina throughout the preparation period, with increasingly aggressive attempts at intimidation and distraction that had culminated in his grabbing of her competition equipment despite her clear rejection of his unwanted assistance. Colonel Patricia Hayes, the championship director, immediately recognized that the incident would require formal investigation while determining whether the competition could continue as scheduled. Her priority was ensuring fairness and safety for all competitors while managing an unprecedented situation that could affect the championship's reputation. Staff Sergeant Moskoff, Colonel Hayes addressed Alina directly. "Are you prepared to continue with the competition while this incident is investigated, or do you require medical evaluation or other support before proceeding with the final elimination round?" Her question acknowledged both the seriousness of the situation and the need to maintain competition integrity. Alina's response demonstrated the professional composure that had characterized her behavior throughout the incident. "Ma'am, I am ready to compete. My equipment is undamaged and I am fully prepared for the final round. Major Connor's interference has been stopped and will not affect my ability to perform to my capabilities." As Connor was loaded onto a medical stretcher while continuing to protest his innocence and demand Alina's arrest, the competition officials faced the challenge of determining whether the final elimination round could proceed fairly, while the incident was investigated and appropriate administrative actions were determined. The decision to continue the championship final despite Major Connor's injury created an atmosphere of tension and anticipation as competitors and spectators processed the unprecedented incident while recognizing that Staff Sergeant Alina Moskoff would now have the opportunity to demonstrate her precision shooting capabilities without further interference from the eliminated competitor who had attempted to sabotage her performance. Colonel Hayes's announcement that the competition would proceed as scheduled reflected her assessment that Connor's behavior had been inappropriate and that Alina's defensive response had been justified, while ensuring that the championship maintained its integrity despite the dramatic incident that had eliminated one of the favored competitors through his own inappropriate actions. The 7-target course awaited the remaining competitors with challenges that would test every aspect of precision shooting capability, from environmental assessment and ballistic calculation to physical control and psychological pressure management, under the scrutiny of military leadership and competitive shooting enthusiasts who understood they were witnessing elite-level marksmanship. Alina's preparation for the actual shooting phase demonstrated the same methodical professionalism that had characterized her equipment setup, with final verification of ballistic solutions, atmospheric condition assessment, and mental preparation that reflected comprehensive understanding of precision shooting requirements under championship conditions. The Barrett M82A1 rifle that Connor had attempted to sabotage was revealed to be in perfect condition following his brief contact with the equipment, its precision configuration undisturbed by his interference attempt, and ready to deliver the accuracy that would be essential for success in the challenging 7-target engagement sequence. Shooting order for the final elimination round placed Alina in the 3rd position among the 5 remaining competitors, providing opportunity to observe initial performances while maintaining sufficient time for her own shooting without the psychological pressure of leading off the championship final. The position was tactically advantageous for someone with her competitive experience. The first competitor's performance established the standard for the final round, with 6 hits out of 7 targets and precision that demonstrated championship-level capability while creating pressure for subsequent shooters to match or exceed his accuracy. His shooting was technically competent but not exceptional, leaving room for improvement by following competitors. The second shooter's performance was less impressive, with only 5 hits out of 7 targets due to environmental miscalculation and apparent psychological pressure that affected his shooting consistency. His struggles created opportunity for competitors who could maintain technical control under the intense scrutiny of championship competition. Alina's approach to the firing line was marked by complete professional composure despite the recent physical confrontation and the additional attention her defensive action had attracted from spectators and officials. Her demeanor suggested that Connor's attempted interference had not affected her psychological preparation or confidence in her shooting capabilities. The spotting telescope operators positioned to verify target impacts provided real-time feedback that would enable immediate scoring while creating additional psychological pressure as competitors realized that every shot was being observed and evaluated by technical experts who could identify even marginal hits or misses. Range environmental conditions had stabilized during the time required for medical response to Connor's injury, with consistent wind patterns and stable atmospheric pressure that would allow precision shooting solutions to remain valid throughout the shooting sequence. The conditions were favorable for exceptional performance by competitors with proper technical preparation. Alina's pre-shooting routine included final verification of her ballistic computer solutions, scope adjustment confirmation, and breathing control exercises that demonstrated comprehensive preparation for championship-level precision shooting under pressure conditions that had eliminated many competitors throughout the preliminary rounds. The first target at 800 meters represented a relatively straightforward engagement for sniper-qualified personnel, but the precision required for championship scoring demanded perfect shot placement that would establish the foundation for increasingly challenging shots at longer ranges where environmental factors would have greater impact on bullet trajectory. Spectator attention focused intensely on Alina as she assumed her shooting position, with military leadership, competitive shooting enthusiasts, and media representatives recognizing that her performance would be evaluated not only for marksmanship excellence but also as a demonstration of capabilities following the dramatic confrontation that had eliminated Connor from competition. Her shooting position demonstrated textbook precision shooting technique with proper body alignment, rifle support, and sight picture that indicated comprehensive training and natural shooting ability. Her positioning was technically perfect while appearing completely relaxed despite the extraordinary circumstances and intense scrutiny.
The range safety officer's final safety check confirmed that all personnel were in protected positions while shooting lanes were clear for safe firing, his procedures ensuring that the championship final could proceed without safety concerns while maintaining the technical standards that had made the competition a premier military marksmanship event. "Shooter ready?" the range officer inquired, receiving Alina's affirmative response while noting her complete composure and technical preparation. Her readiness was evident in both her physical positioning and psychological demeanor, suggesting that Connor's interference attempt had not affected her competitive mindset or shooting preparation. As Alina prepared to engage the first target in what would become legendary as one of the most impressive precision shooting demonstrations in military competitive history, spectators and competitors alike understood they were about to witness either vindication of her capabilities or confirmation that championship pressure could overcome even the most technically competent shooters. The moment of truth had arrived for determining whether her defensive action against Connor's sabotage attempt had been justified by subsequent demonstration of the exceptional marksmanship skills that had brought her to the championship final, or whether the incident would overshadow whatever shooting performance might follow. The first shot from Alina's Barrett M82A1 broke the silence with the distinctive crack of the .50 caliber cartridge, followed immediately by the metallic impact of the massive bullet striking the center of the 800-meter target with precision that exceeded even championship standards. The shot placement was verified as a perfect center hit by spotters who confirmed that her ballistic solution had been flawless. Her shooting rhythm established itself immediately as she smoothly transitioned to the 1000-meter target, her bolt manipulation and sight picture adjustment demonstrating the kind of technical competence that separated elite marksmen from merely competent shooters. The second shot followed within 15 seconds of the first, striking dead center with precision that drew audible appreciation from experienced observers. The 250-meter target required more significant ballistic adjustment for wind drift and bullet drop, but Alina's preparation had anticipated the environmental factors perfectly. Her third shot impacted precisely in the target center, maintaining the perfect accuracy that was transforming her performance into a demonstration of exceptional marksmanship capability under championship pressure. Spectators who had witnessed thousands of rounds fired in military competitions recognized that they were observing something extraordinary. As Alina's systematic progression through increasingly challenging targets maintained precision that exceeded normal championship performance, her shooting was approaching the theoretical limits of both equipment and human capability. The 500-meter engagement represented the distance where environmental factors began to significantly challenge even expert marksmen, with wind drift and atmospheric conditions creating variables that could easily cause misses despite perfect technique. Alina's fourth shot struck the target center with authority that confirmed her ballistic calculations had been exceptional throughout her preparation. Her shooting position remained perfectly stable throughout the sequence, with no indication of fatigue or psychological pressure despite the intense scrutiny and extraordinary circumstances that had preceded her performance. Her breathing control and trigger manipulation demonstrated the kind of technical mastery that required years of dedicated training and natural shooting ability. The 750-meter target pushed the Barrett M82A1 system toward the limits of its effective range for precision shooting, with bullet trajectory and environmental factors creating challenges that only the most skilled snipers could consistently overcome. Alina's fifth shot maintained her perfect accuracy, striking the target center with precision that defied the mathematical probabilities of such consistent performance. Range officials and competitors were beginning to realize that they were witnessing one of the most exceptional shooting performances in military competitive history, with accuracy that was approaching theoretical perfection under conditions that typically caused even expert marksmen to struggle with consistency. Her performance was redefining expectations for championship-level shooting. The psychological pressure of maintaining perfect accuracy while knowing that every subsequent shot would either continue her exceptional performance or end her perfect streak would have overwhelmed most competitors. But Alina's demeanor suggested complete focus and confidence in her technical preparation and shooting capabilities. The 900-meter target represented extreme long-range shooting that challenged both equipment limitations and human capability to accurately assess environmental factors and execute precise shot placement. The engagement required ballistic solutions that pushed beyond normal precision shooting into the realm of extraordinary marksmanship that few military personnel ever achieved. Her sixth shot struck the 900-meter target with the same center precision that had characterized her entire performance, maintaining accuracy that was statistically improbable but technically perfect given her preparation and execution. The impact confirmed that her shooting skills exceeded even the most optimistic assessments of her competitive potential. The final target at 2,100 meters represented the ultimate test of precision shooting capability, with environmental factors and equipment limitations that made consistent accuracy extremely challenging even for the most experienced military snipers. Success would require perfect execution of every technical element while maintaining psychological control under intense pressure. Spectator attention was complete as Alina prepared for the shot that would determine whether her performance would be remembered as exceptional or legendary. With perfect accuracy on 7 consecutive targets representing achievements that occurred perhaps once in a generation in military competitive shooting, her preparation for the final shot demonstrated the same methodical approach that had characterized her entire performance, with careful environmental assessment, ballistic verification, and breathing control that suggested complete confidence in her technical preparation despite the extraordinary challenge of maintaining perfect accuracy at maximum range. The Barrett M82A1's massive muzzle blast announced her 7th shot across the range complex as .50 caliber bullet began its trajectory toward the most distant target, carrying with it the culmination of preparation, training, and natural ability that had created one of the most impressive shooting demonstrations in military history. The impact at 100 meters struck the target center with the same precision that had characterized all 6 previous shots, completing a perfect 7-for-7 performance that established new standards for championship shooting while vindicating her defensive action against Connor's attempted sabotage through demonstration of the exceptional capability they had tried to prevent. Range officials confirmed the perfect score while spectators and competitors processed what they had just witnessed, a shooting performance that transcended normal championship competition to become a legendary demonstration of precision marksmanship that would be studied and remembered for generations of military competitive shooters.
The immediate aftermath of Alina's perfect 7-target performance created an atmosphere of stunned appreciation as competitors, officials, and spectators processed the extraordinary demonstration of precision shooting they had just witnessed. The combination of technical perfection and championship pressure had produced results that exceeded even the most optimistic expectations for military marksmanship competition. Colonel Hayes approached the firing line with obvious amazement, her extensive experience with competitive shooting providing perspective on just how exceptional Alina's performance had been under circumstances that would have overwhelmed most competitors. Her congratulations carried the weight of professional recognition from someone who understood the technical achievement that had just been demonstrated. Staff Sergeant Moskoff, Colonel Hayes announced to the assembled spectators, has just delivered the most exceptional shooting performance in inter-service precision rifle championship history, with perfect accuracy on 7 targets at ranges from 800 to 2,100 meters, using the Barrett M82A1 system. Her achievement represents the pinnacle of military marksmanship capability. The scoring verification process confirmed what spectators had observed: 7 perfect center hits that established new championship records for both accuracy and consistency at extreme ranges. The technical achievement would be documented in military marksmanship records while serving as inspiration for future competitors and training programs. Media representatives who had covered military shooting competitions for decades recognized that they had witnessed history in the making, with Alina's performance providing material for articles and documentaries that would highlight both her individual achievement and the broader capabilities of military precision shooting programs. Fellow competitors approached Alina with professional respect and genuine appreciation for the shooting demonstration they had witnessed, their congratulations reflecting understanding of the technical excellence and psychological control required to achieve such results under championship conditions. Their recognition was particularly meaningful coming from peers who understood the challenges involved. The medical report on Major Connor's injury confirmed that his radius and ulna fractures would require surgical repair and extensive rehabilitation, effectively ending his competitive shooting career while providing physical consequences for his attempt to sabotage Alina's performance. His injury would serve as a permanent reminder of the consequences of inappropriate behavior. Military leadership present at the competition recognized that Alina's performance had implications beyond individual achievement, demonstrating the effectiveness of Marine Corps sniper training while providing a powerful example of capabilities that could inspire recruitment and training programs throughout the military marksmanship community. The incident investigation conducted by military police confirmed that Connor's behavior had been inappropriate and that Alina's defensive response had been both justified and professionally executed, clearing her of any misconduct while documenting the circumstances that had led to Connor's injury and elimination from competition. Award presentations for the championship included special recognition for Alina's unprecedented perfect performance, with honors that acknowledged not only her marksmanship excellence but also her professional composure under extraordinary circumstances that had tested both her shooting skills and personal character. The Barrett Firearms Company representatives who had provided equipment for the competition immediately recognized the marketing value of Alina's perfect performance with their flagship rifle system, leading to discussions about endorsement opportunities and product development input that could benefit both her career and their business objectives. Television interviews following the competition provided Alina with opportunities to discuss both her shooting performance and the incident with Connor, her professional responses emphasizing the importance of preparation, training, and maintaining focus under pressure, while addressing inappropriate behavior through proper defensive techniques. Military sniper training programs began incorporating analysis of Alina's shooting performance into their curricula, using video footage and technical data to illustrate optimal precision shooting techniques, while demonstrating the capabilities that proper training could develop in dedicated personnel with natural shooting ability. The psychological evaluation of Connor ordered following his injury revealed personality disorders and bias issues that had contributed to his inappropriate behavior, while recommending counseling and attitude adjustment that would be required before any return to competitive shooting or training responsibilities. Congressional interest in the championship results led to testimony about military marksmanship programs and their role in developing exceptional shooting capabilities, with Alina's performance cited as evidence of the effectiveness of current training methods while supporting continued funding for precision shooting programs. International military competitions extended invitations for Alina to represent American marksmanship capabilities at worldwide events, recognizing that her championship performance had established her as one of the premier military shooters globally while creating opportunities for international cooperation and competition. The long-term impact of Connor's elimination from competitive shooting served as a deterrent for other competitors who might consider inappropriate behavior toward fellow participants, while establishing clear precedents for consequences that would await anyone who attempted to sabotage competitions through interference or intimidation. Alina's promotion to gunnery sergeant was accelerated following her championship performance, with recognition that her achievements and professional behavior under extraordinary circumstances demonstrated leadership potential that warranted advancement and additional responsibilities within Marine Corps marksmanship programs. The championship trophy and associated awards provided tangible recognition of achievement that would remain permanent reminders of exceptional performance under pressure, while inspiring future competitors to strive for similar levels of excellence in preparation, execution, and professional behavior during competitive events. The formal investigation into Major Connor's attempted equipment sabotage and subsequent injury revealed a pattern of inappropriate behavior that extended throughout his competitive shooting career, with testimony from multiple witnesses documenting systematic attempts to intimidate and distract competitors through psychological manipulation and increasingly aggressive tactics that had culminated in direct physical interference. Staff Sergeant Rodriguez, the military police investigator assigned to the case, documented extensive evidence of Connor's unprofessional conduct, including witness statements from 15 competitors who had experienced similar intimidation tactics during previous competitions. The pattern revealed systematic abuse of rank and reputation to gain competitive advantages through inappropriate means. The medical examination of Connor's fractured arm provided forensic evidence that supported Alina's account of defensive action, with injury patterns consistent with controlled application of defensive techniques rather than aggressive assault. The medical findings confirmed that her response had been precisely calibrated to stop his interference without causing unnecessary additional harm. Lieutenant Colonel Kim, the legal officer reviewing the case, determined that Connor's behavior constituted multiple violations of military regulations, including conduct unbecoming an officer, abuse of authority, and interference with official military competitions. The charges would result in formal disciplinary action and potential elimination from military service. Witness testimony from competition officials and fellow competitors provided overwhelming evidence of Connor's inappropriate behavior toward Alina throughout the championship, with detailed accounts of comments and actions that demonstrated clear intent to sabotage her performance through psychological pressure and ultimately physical interference with her equipment. The Pentagon's review of Connor's service record revealed previous informal complaints about his behavior toward female personnel and competitors, with administrative responses that had consistently minimized concerns rather than addressing underlying attitude problems that had contributed to his escalating inappropriate behavior. Psychological evaluation of Connor revealed narcissistic personality traits and deep-seated bias against female competitors that had created the mindset underlying his sabotage attempt, while indicating that his behavior was likely to continue without comprehensive intervention and attitude modification programs. The investigation expanded to include Connor's previous coaching and training assignments, revealing multiple instances of inappropriate behavior toward female trainees that had been inadequately addressed by supervisors who had prioritized his technical expertise over concerns about his unprofessional conduct and attitude problems. Alina's cooperation with the investigation provided crucial testimony about defensive training and appropriate response to physical threats, while her professional demeanor throughout the process demonstrated the kind of character and integrity that military leadership sought to promote within competitive programs. Congressional oversight of military competitive shooting programs included specific examination of the Connor case, with testimony about preventing inappropriate behavior and ensuring fair competition free from intimidation or sabotage attempts by participants who abused their positions for competitive advantage. The military justice proceedings against Connor resulted in reduction in rank, forfeiture of pay, and elimination from all competitive shooting programs, with additional restrictions on training and coaching assignments that might provide access to potential victims of his inappropriate behavior and attitude problems. Disciplinary action was also taken against Connor's previous supervisors who had failed to address documented complaints about his behavior, with career consequences for officers whose negligence had enabled his inappropriate conduct to continue and escalate to the point of attempted sabotage during championship competition. The establishment of enhanced reporting procedures for inappropriate behavior during competitive events ensured that future incidents would be properly investigated and addressed, while creating accountability measures that would deter similar behavior by other competitors who might consider using intimidation or sabotage tactics. Training programs for competition officials were enhanced to include recognition and response protocols for inappropriate competitor behavior, with emphasis on protecting all participants from intimidation while maintaining the integrity and fairness that were essential for meaningful competitive results. The military marksmanship community's response to the incident included policy changes that established clear behavioral standards for all competitors, with enforcement mechanisms that would ensure swift and appropriate consequences for anyone who violated the professional conduct expected in military competitive events. Media coverage of the investigation highlighted broader issues of gender bias and inappropriate behavior in military competitive programs, leading to comprehensive reviews of policies and procedures designed to ensure that all personnel could compete without facing harassment or sabotage from fellow participants.
The long-term consequences for Connor included permanent prohibition from military competitive shooting and associated coaching positions, effectively ending his involvement in the community where he had built his reputation while serving as a deterrent for others who might consider similar inappropriate behavior. Victim advocacy programs were established to provide support for military personnel who experienced inappropriate behavior during competitive events, while legal resources were made available to ensure that proper defensive actions would be supported rather than penalized when individuals protected themselves from threats. The precedent established by Alina's case provided clear guidelines for appropriate defensive response to physical interference, while confirming that military personnel had both the right and responsibility to protect themselves from attempted sabotage or assault regardless of the perpetrator's rank or reputation. The Connor incident catalyzed comprehensive changes in military competitive culture as leadership recognized that addressing inappropriate behavior and gender bias required systematic reform of attitudes, policies, and accountability measures that had previously enabled predatory conduct to continue unchecked within prestigious programs that were supposed to represent the highest standards of military professionalism. Secretary of Defense Martinez ordered a service-wide review of competitive shooting programs following congressional testimony about the Connor case, with particular focus on creating inclusive environments where all qualified personnel could compete without facing harassment, intimidation, or sabotage from colleagues who prioritized personal advancement over institutional values and fair competition. The establishment of mandatory bias training for all competitive program participants addressed underlying attitude problems that had contributed to Connor's behavior while educating personnel about professional standards and appropriate conduct during competitive events. The training emphasized that technical expertise did not excuse inappropriate behavior or provide immunity from consequences. Military women's organizations embraced Alina's case as a powerful example of how proper training and professional courage could overcome attempts at intimidation and sabotage, while demonstrating that female personnel possessed the capabilities and determination necessary to excel in traditionally male-dominated competitive disciplines despite institutional and cultural barriers. Research conducted by military sociologists examined the cultural factors that had enabled Connor's behavior to continue unaddressed for years, identifying systemic problems with reporting mechanisms, supervisor accountability, and institutional tolerance for inappropriate conduct that prioritized protecting reputations over ensuring safe and professional competitive environments. The Marine Corps implemented enhanced sniper training programs that incorporated lessons from Alina's defensive techniques, recognizing that personnel protection extended beyond combat applications to include self-defense against inappropriate behavior by colleagues and superiors who might abuse their positions for personal gratification or competitive advantage. International military exchange programs began sharing best practices for preventing inappropriate behavior in competitive environments, with Alina's case serving as a model for effective response while demonstrating the importance of supporting personnel who defended themselves against harassment and sabotage attempts. Academic studies of the Connor case were incorporated into military leadership curricula at service academies and professional development schools, providing future officers with instances of how individual failures could create institutional liability, while emphasizing the importance of character and integrity in leadership positions. The psychological services available to military personnel were expanded to address the trauma experienced by victims of inappropriate behavior, while support programs were established for individuals who had witnessed or experienced similar incidents but had been reluctant to report them due to concerns about career consequences or institutional retaliation. Media coverage of military competitive shooting programs improved significantly following the changes implemented after Connor's case, with positive stories about inclusive competition and exceptional performance replacing previous focus on scandals and inappropriate behavior that had damaged the reputation of military marksmanship programs. Recruitment materials for military competitive programs began emphasizing professional standards and inclusive environments that welcomed all qualified personnel regardless of gender or background. while highlighting success stories like Alina's that demonstrated the opportunities available for dedicated individuals with exceptional capabilities. The equipment manufacturers who supported military competitive shooting recognized the marketing value of association with positive role models like Alina, leading to sponsorship and endorsement opportunities that provided financial support while promoting products through authentic success stories rather than controversial personalities. Training facilities enhanced their safety and conduct policies to prevent inappropriate behavior during competitive events, with monitoring systems and reporting procedures that would enable immediate intervention if participants engaged in harassment, intimidation, or sabotage attempts against fellow competitors. The legal precedents established by Connor's prosecution provided clear guidelines for military justice personnel handling similar cases, while creating deterrent effects that discouraged inappropriate behavior through demonstrated consequences that included career termination and legal penalties for serious violations. Military medical personnel received enhanced training for treating injuries resulting from defensive actions, with protocols that recognized the legitimacy of self-defense while providing appropriate care for both victims and perpetrators of inappropriate behavior that had escalated to physical confrontations. The competitive shooting community's response included establishment of awards recognizing not only marksmanship excellence but also professional conduct and character, with annual recognition for individuals who demonstrated the kind of integrity and courage that Alina had shown throughout her championship performance and subsequent handling of Connor's behavior. Long-term studies of military competitive programs showed significant improvements in participation rates and performance levels following the cultural changes implemented after Connor's case, with increased diversity and reduced incidents of inappropriate behavior, creating more productive and professional competitive environments. The international reputation of American military marksmanship programs was enhanced by the professional response to Connor's inappropriate behavior and the institutional changes that followed, demonstrating commitment to fair competition and professional conduct that attracted positive attention from allied military organizations and competitive shooting communities worldwide. Alumni networks of former competitive shooters were mobilized to mentor current participants and share experiences about maintaining professional standards, with emphasis on recognizing and reporting inappropriate behavior, while supporting colleagues who faced challenges similar to those Alina had encountered during her championship performance. 5 years after her perfect 7-target performance at the Inter-Service Precision Rifle Championship, Gunnery Sergeant Alina Moskov had become the most recognizable advocate for professional excellence and inclusive competition in military marksmanship. Her combination of exceptional shooting skills and courageous response to inappropriate behavior inspiring comprehensive cultural changes that had transformed competitive programs across all service branches. The annual Connor Prevention Training, named ironically after the officer whose inappropriate behavior had catalyzed reform, was now mandatory for all military competitive program participants, with curricula that emphasized professional conduct, bias recognition, and appropriate response to harassment, while using Alina's case as the primary example of how to handle difficult situations with integrity and courage. Alina's assignment as Director of Military Marksmanship Excellence at the Marine Corps Shooting Team provided her with platform and authority to influence training programs nationwide. Her expertise in both technical shooting and professional conduct making her the ideal leader for initiatives that combined competitive excellence with character development and inclusive participation. The Barrett Firearms Company's partnership with Alina had produced innovative training programs and equipment modifications that improved accessibility for diverse shooters while maintaining the technical standards required for championship-level performance, demonstrating that inclusivity and excellence were complementary rather than competing objectives in competitive shooting programs. Congressional testimony by Alina had supported funding increases for military competitive programs, with legislators recognizing that her achievements and professional conduct represented the kind of military excellence that deserved public support, while creating positive examples for recruitment and retention of high-quality personnel across all specialties. The Moskov Foundation, established with endorsement, income and speaking fees from her championship performance, provided scholarships and training opportunities for underrepresented groups in competitive shooting while supporting research into bias prevention and inclusive program development that would benefit military and civilian shooting communities. International recognition of Alina's achievements included invitations to coach national teams and serve as technical advisor for competitive programs worldwide. Her expertise sought by organizations that recognized the connection between technical excellence and professional character that had made her success possible under extraordinary circumstances. The documentary film Perfect Seven had won multiple awards while reaching audiences far beyond the military community. Its portrayal of Alina's championship performance and the broader issues of bias and harassment resonating with viewers who recognized universal themes about overcoming obstacles through preparation, courage, and professional integrity. Military recruitment programs featured Alina's story as an example of the opportunities available for exceptional personnel. Her achievements demonstrating that military service could provide platforms for individual excellence while contributing to institutional improvement and cultural change that benefited all personnel. Research conducted at military academies and civilian universities examined the cultural changes that had followed Connor's case, with studies documenting significant improvements in competitive program participation, performance levels, and professional conduct that had resulted from systematic attention to bias prevention and inclusive environment creation. The long-term consequences for Connor himself included permanent elimination from military service and prohibition from involvement in competitive shooting, his case serving as ongoing reminder of the severe professional and personal costs of inappropriate behavior while deterring others who might consider similar. Training programs developed by Alina had been adopted by law enforcement agencies and civilian competitive organizations, recognizing that the principles of professional conduct and bias prevention were applicable beyond military environments, while benefiting from her unique combination of technical expertise and leadership experience. The annual Inter-Service Precision Rifle Championship now included the Moskov Award for Professional Excellence, recognizing competitors who demonstrated exceptional character and conduct regardless of their shooting performance, with recipients selected based on criteria that emphasized the values Alina had exemplified throughout her competitive career. Media coverage of military competitive shooting had been transformed from focus on scandals and controversy to celebration of achievement and professionalism, with Alina's story providing template for positive narratives about military excellence and the importance of character in competitive environments. Corporate sponsors of military competitive programs had increased their support following the cultural changes implemented after Connor's case, recognizing that association with professional, inclusive programs provides a better marketing value than connection with controversial personalities or organizations that tolerated inappropriate behavior. The psychological support services available to military personnel had been enhanced based on lessons learned from Connor's case and its aftermath, with programs that addressed both prevention of inappropriate behavior and support for individuals who had experienced harassment or had to defend themselves against sabotage attempts. Veterans organizations embraced Alina's story as an example of military values in action, using her experience to demonstrate how proper training and professional courage could overcome challenges while maintaining the integrity and character expected of military personnel throughout their service and beyond. Educational institutions incorporated Alina's case into courses on leadership, ethics, and conflict resolution, recognizing that her experience provided practical examples of how individuals could respond to difficult situations, while maintaining professional standards and achieving exceptional results despite extraordinary challenges. As Alina continued her military service with expanded responsibilities and influence, Her legacy had already transformed competitive shooting culture while inspiring future generations of military personnel to strive for excellence in both technical performance and professional conduct, proving that individual courage could create institutional change that benefited countless others. The perfect 7-target performance that had followed her defensive action against Connor's sabotage attempt remained legendary within military marksmanship communities, but her broader impact on military culture and competitive program form had created lasting changes that would protect and inspire military personnel for decades to come. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.